Welcome to The Power Within. This is not just another motivational video. This is a wake-up call, a call to rise, to confront, and to kill that weak version of yourself that's been holding you back. If you're ready to change, not someday, but right now, then stay with me, because this might be the most important message you hear today. There comes a moment in every life when enough is enough. A moment where you can no longer ignore the truth. You've been living beneath your potential, making excuses, settling, hiding behind comfort and calling it patience. But let me tell you something. Comfort is a slow death. The greatest battle you'll ever fight isn't against the world. It's against the weakest version of yourself. The one who whispers lies, you're not good enough. You can't do it. Maybe tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow doesn't belong to the weak. It belongs to the bold. Excuses are comfortable lies. They keep you warm in a mediocre life, but they will never build a legacy. They will never make you proud. So here's your challenge. Stop blaming the world. Yes, life throws punches. Yes, you may have had a rough start, but your response is more powerful than your circumstances. Take back the power you've given to fear, to doubt, to procrastination. Because the moment you do that, you take your first real step towards strength. Ownership is the beginning of transformation. When you finally say, yes, that's on me, you also say, and I have the power to change it. From that moment forward, every decision becomes a brick in the new version of you. The stronger you, the disciplined you, the relentless you. But it all starts with a single decision. Not a maybe, not someday. A decision carved in stone. I will no longer live as a shadow of my potential. There comes a moment in every life when enough is enough. A moment where you can no longer ignore the truth. You've been living beneath your potential, making excuses, settling, hiding behind comfort and calling it patience. But let me tell you something. Comfort is a slow death. The greatest battle you'll ever fight isn't against the world. It's against the weakest version of yourself. The one who whispers lies, you're not good enough. You can't do it. Maybe tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow doesn't belong to the weak. It belongs to the bold. Before you can win this war, you must see the enemy clearly. And sometimes, that enemy is you, the procrastinator in you, the self-doubter, the one paralyzed by fear of failure. Ask yourself right now, what's holding you back? Be brutally honest, because you can't heal what you refuse to name. Too many people live in denial. They say, I'm okay. But their lives are stuck. Their goals are dust-covered dreams. Their time is wasted in endless loops of almost started. Let me give you an example. There are thousands of people out there with million-dollar ideas, but they never act on them. Why? Because they keep feeding their weakness with excuses like, I need more time, I need to wait until I feel ready, or worse, it's too late for me. But you know what separates winners from the rest? Winners take ownership. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create their own momentum in spite of fear, pain, or doubt. There comes a moment in every life when enough is enough. A moment where you can no longer ignore the truth. You've been living beneath your potential, making excuses, settling, hiding behind comfort and calling it patience. But let me tell you something. Comfort is a slow death. The greatest battle you'll ever fight isn't against the world. It's against the weakest version of yourself. The one who whispers lies, you're not good enough. You can't do it. Maybe tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow doesn't belong to the weak. It belongs to the bold. Before you can win this war, you must see the enemy clearly. And sometimes, that enemy is you, the procrastinator in you, the self-doubter, the one paralyzed by fear of failure. Ask yourself right now, what's holding you back? Be brutally honest, because you can't heal what you refuse to name. Too many people live in denial. They say, I'm okay. But their lives are stuck. Their goals are dust-covered dreams. Their time is wasted in endless loops of almost started. Let me give you an example. There are thousands of people out there with million-dollar ideas, but they never act on them. Why? Because they keep feeding their weakness with excuses like, I need more time, I need to wait until I feel ready, or worse, it's too late for me. But you know what separates winners from the rest? Winners take ownership. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create their own momentum in spite of fear, pain, or doubt. Excuses are comfortable lies. They keep you warm in a mediocre life. but they will never build a legacy. They will never make you proud. So here's your challenge. Stop blaming the world. Yes, life throws punches. Yes, you may have had a rough start, but your response is more powerful than your circumstances. Take back the power you've given to fear, to doubt, to procrastination, because the moment you do that, you take your first real step towards strength. Ownership is the beginning of transformation. When you finally say, yes, that's on me, you also say, and I have the power to change it. From that moment forward, every decision becomes a brick in the new version of you. The stronger you, the disciplined you, the relentless you. But it all starts with a single decision, not a maybe, not someday. A decision carved in stone. I will no longer live as a shadow of my potential. Every great transformation in human history, from athletes to entrepreneurs to warriors, begins with one thing, a choice. A decision to go all in, to kill the weak version of self and rise again, stronger, sharper, unstoppable. So ask yourself, are you ready to make that decision? Or will you keep dancing with your excuses for one more wasted year? Let me tell you something real. The right time is a myth. It's a fantasy that your weak self keeps clinging to because waiting is easier than acting. But here's the truth. Weakness cannot afford to wait. If you want to change, you don't wait. You decide. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Drawing that line in the sand isn't some symbolic moment. It's a war cry. A declaration, I refuse to live as anything less than who I'm meant to be. This is not about them, not your friends, not your family. This is about you and the person staring back at you in the mirror. That's your only competition, the only battle that truly matters.
Words are easy. Decisions backed by consistent action. That's what transforms a life. Because the weak version of you, it thrives on inconsistency. It shows up when you feel tired. It makes you quit when no one is watching. So kill it. Kill it by showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. Make your word mean something again. Be the person who finishes what they start. Because every single day that you choose action over excuse, you bury the old you 1 inch deeper. And let's talk about the real enemy, fear. Fear is the heartbeat of weakness. It whispers, what if you fail? What if they laugh? What if it all goes wrong? But listen closely, that voice has no power unless you believe it. It feeds on your hesitation, your overthinking, your silence. Every time you sit still when you should move, fear grows. But here's the trick, fear dies in motion. You want to beat fear? Then take the first step, no matter how small. Move forward even when your legs shake. Speak up even when your voice trembles. Do the thing you fear and watch how that fear begins to crumble. Your comfort zone is fear's favorite hiding place. It's warm, it's familiar, but nothing extraordinary grows there. If you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you've got to be willing to walk into discomfort. Because discomfort isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. Let fear say, what if it all goes wrong? You answer with, what if it all goes right? Flip the script, ask better questions, shift your perspective, and starve your fear of its favorite food, doubt. And don't just rely on willpower, change your environment. You are the company you keep. If your circle is full of complainers, procrastinators, and excuse makers, guess what? You'll start to believe that's normal. That's the atmosphere where weakness breeds and multiplies. You want to rise? Then rise with the right people. People who challenge themselves. People who chase goals, not gossip. People who hold you accountable, not hold you back. Strong people don't just talk, they act, they evolve, they elevate. When you surround yourself with those people, their energy becomes your standard, their discipline becomes contagious. Now take a look around you, ask yourself, honestly, are these people pulling you up or dragging you down? If they're keeping you stuck, it's time to make a change. Because you don't owe anyone your dreams. You don't owe loyalty to mediocrity. You owe yourself the life you were born to live. And just because someone's been in your life for years, doesn't mean they deserve a seat at your future table. Remember, strength requires standards. Growth requires sacrifice. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is outgrow the people who refuse to grow with you. Pay attention to the people around you. Look at how they think. Watch how they act. Absorb their mindset. Mirror their moves. Because success leaves clues and strong people leave blueprints. If you're surrounded by strength, it will challenge your weakness to evolve. But sometimes, upgrading your life means upgrading your circle. And yes, that might mean walking away from people you've known for years. That's not being selfish. That's being strategic. You're not cutting people off, you're cutting limits off. Weak people will call you change like it's an insult. Strong people, they'll call it growth, and they'll respect the grind. Learn to let go without guilt. You're not here to babysit mediocrity. You're here to rise. Seek mentors. Seek warriors. People who fought the battles you're facing now and won. Their lessons will expand your mind. Their example will shatter your limitations. Because the truth is, weakness doesn't survive in a room full of the relentless. It gets exposed, it gets challenged, and eventually, it gets eliminated. When you surround yourself with winners, you stop identifying with your excuses. You begin to embody excellence. Environment shapes identity. Build an environment of strength, and you'll grow into someone unstoppable. Now let's talk about the most powerful tool in your arsenal: discipline. Discipline is the sword that slays your weak self. It shows up when motivation runs out. It acts when feelings say not today. It trains your mind to obey your purpose, not your emotions. The weak version of you wants comfort, wants to skip the workout, sleep in, procrastinate, scroll. But discipline says we show up anyway. You don't build discipline through massive overnight change. You build it through tiny daily victories. Wake up on time, move your body, read, reflect, focus. Every small act is a vote for your future self. And the more you vote, the more that version becomes real. Structure is your friend because structure kills chaos. And chaos is where your weak self hides. Build a system, a routine, a rhythm. Whether it's a morning ritual, daily workout, or silent focus time, keep showing up. Especially when it's boring. Boring builds champions. Let's talk about the most abused resource: time. Your weak self wastes time like it's infinite. Mindless scrolling, pointless conversations, Netflix marathons, all distractions, all thieves. Your strong self treats time like currency. Invested, not spent. Audit your time. Cut out the fluff. Say no to the things and people that drain your purpose. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something meaningful. Don't live your life trying not to disappoint others. Live to not disappoint your future self. Plan your days with intention. Wake up with direction. Because if you don't control your schedule will control you. The weak version of you thrives in busyness. It hides behind chaos, pretending it's productivity. But motion isn't progress. Intentional action is. The strong version of you knows how to prioritize. Not urgent, but important. Not loud, but lasting. Not easy, but essential. Ask yourself, is this worth my time? If the answer is no, cut it. And finally, let's talk about the bridge that connects where you are to where you want to be: consistency. The weak version of you starts fast, burns out fast. It wants instant results, immediate recognition. But real growth, real success, that belongs to the consistent, the one who shows up even on the worst days. Consistency isn't sexy, it's not flashy, it's repetition, it's quiet, but it's lethal. It builds momentum, it builds trust with yourself, and trust becomes confidence. Your weak self doubts because it knows it's unreliable. Your strong self believes because it keeps its word. So build that belief, brick by brick, day by day. No matter how small the step, take it. Because when you're consistent, you don't just dream success, you live it. Want to grow? Then study the greats. Watch how they think, observe how they move, absorb their discipline, mirror their focus. Let their strength become the blueprint for your rise. Sometimes leveling up your mindset means leveling up your circle. And that's not cruelty, it's clarity. If they no longer align with your mission, it's time to walk away. That's not betrayal, that's evolution. Weak people will criticize you for changing. Strong people will respect you for growing. Learn to let go, not with guilt, but with gratitude. Because letting go clears the space for greatness to enter. Seek mentors, seek leaders, seek real warriors. Those who've walked the path, failed forward, and kept rising. Their guidance will collapse your learning curve and open doors you didn't even know existed. The weak version of you cannot breathe in a room full of fire. Because in the presence of greatness, excuses suffocate. When you surround yourself with high standards, you either rise or you retreat. Choose to rise. You're not just killing your weak self, you're replacing it with a version built for victory. Your environment is your ecosystem. Nurture it with strength, and you'll become unstoppable. And here's your sharpest weapon: discipline. Not the loud, dramatic kind, but the quiet, daily discipline that no one sees, but everyone feels. It's showing up on the days you don't want to. It's pushing through when your body says quit and your mind says not now. It's doing what's right, not what's easy. The weak version of you feeds on inconsistency. It skips workouts, sleeps in, chooses comfort over conquest. But discipline has no interest in your feelings. It listens only to your goals. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a mindset. Motivation fades. Discipline endures. Discipline is waking up when the alarm rings. It's saying no to distractions and yes to priorities, again and again and again. It's not about overhauling your life overnight. It's about choosing one powerful action per day and repeating it until it becomes a part of who you are. 10 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of training, daily reflection. These small wins compound. And over time, they create an avalanche of unstoppable momentum. Weakness hates structure, because structure means accountability. Structure reveals whether you're serious or just pretending. Build routines that protect your growth. Morning rituals, evening resets, deep work sessions. Stick to them like your life depends on it, because it does. The weak version of you will beg for comfort when discipline kicks in. But discipline doesn't argue. It doesn't explain, it just executes. Each action is a vote for the person you're becoming, and each vote makes the weak version of you disappear. Discipline isn't just something you do, it's someone you become. It's the root of confidence, the proof of self-respect, the beginning of greatness. When you consistently show up for yourself, you tell the world, I am not to be doubted. You don't just dream of success, you live it. Now let's talk about time, your most valuable, non-refundable currency. The weak version of you wastes time like it's free, scrolling endlessly, binge-watching mindless content, entertaining conversations that add zero value. These aren't breaks, they're distractions, they're traps. The strong version of you guards time like treasure, because every minute is a decision, and every decision writes your story. Cut the noise, audit your hours, eliminate what drains you. That means saying no to things that don't serve your future. Not out of rudeness, out of self-respect. Every yes to nonsense is a no to your growth. So flip it. Say yes to vision. Say yes to silence. Say yes to strategy. Don't wander through your day, command it. Wake up with a plan. Set intentions. Rank your priorities. Because if you don't run your day will run you straight into mediocrity. The weak version of you loves chaos, because chaos gives it cover. It thrives in disorder, because disorder hides lack of action. But structure exposes the truth. And the truth is that you were built for more. Focus on what matters, not what's loud. Don't let the urgent replace the important. Ask yourself constantly, is this helping me build the life I want? If not, let it go. Delete it, unfollow it, walk away. Because the strong version of you protects their focus like a lion protects its territory. Now comes the secret weapon, consistency. The weak version of you starts strong, then fades. Starts a project, abandons it, joins a gym, stops showing up, reads one chapter, then forgets the book. But the strong version of you, it shows up again and again, no matter what. Consistency isn't about doing everything. It's about doing one thing long enough to master it. Choose one area, one habit, one priority, and commit. Because real success isn't built on explosions of effort, it's built on quiet repetition. No fanfare, no claps, just progress. The weak version of you wants instant gratification, but the strong version of you trusts the process. It knows that compound effort wins, that slow growth is still growth, that results don't come from wishing, but from working. Consistency builds trust in yourself, and that trust becomes the foundation of unshakable confidence. You don't rise by getting inspired, you rise by getting consistent. The weak version of you can't survive in a mindset that embraces discomfort, because greatness only lives on the edge, where boundaries are broken and comfort is rejected. Challenging yourself isn't about proving something to the world, it's about proving something to yourself. That you're not average, that you refuse to settle, that you were made for more. Make challenges a daily ritual. Push the limit just one step further, because every time you challenge your comfort, the weak version of you loses its grip. A little more. But watch out, there's a trap. Comparison. It's the silent killer of progress, the fuel of self-doubt, the weapon of the weak version of you. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's destination. You didn't live their life. You didn't fight their battles. You weren't built to follow their path. You were born to blaze your own. The highlight reels you see online, they're illusions. They don't show the late nights, the breakdowns, the fear. And yet the weak version of you compares your struggle to someone else's success and then justifies quitting. But the strong version? It stops scrolling, it stops measuring, and it starts building. It celebrates small wins. It respects its own pace, because real success isn't rushed, it's earned. Use the success of others as fuel, not friction. Learn from them, study them, apply what works, then innovate the rest. Because the weak version of you resents, but the strong version learns. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is the final gate, the last test. The weak version of you runs from it, hides from it, denies it, but the strong version of you walks straight through it. Fear only has power when you hand it control. Face it, and you'll see. It's just smoke and mirrors. Write down your fears. Name them. Stare them in the face, and then walk into them. Speak in public. Start that business. Have that conversation. Launch that project. Every step through fear makes you stronger. And fear, it shrinks under your footsteps. Being fearless isn't about being numb. It's about being bold despite the fear. That's the mindset that dismantles fear and kills the weak version of you once and for all. To be unstoppable doesn't mean you never fall, it means you never quit. The weak version of you breaks at the first sign of struggle, but the strong version rises, pushes, adapts, moves forward. Unstoppable isn't a title, it's a decision. It's a vow to eliminate excuses, to see failure as fuel, to treat setbacks as stepping stones. The weak see walls, the strong build stairs. Eliminate the language of limitation, erase I can't, destroy I'll try. Replace them with I will. Surround yourself with those who live at full intensity. People who chase goals like their lives depend on it, because it does. Their fire will ignite yours. Their grit will raise your standards. Their hunger will push you past your breaking point. The weak version of you seeks comfort. But comfort is a cage. The strong version of you seeks clarity, challenge, and conquest. Stay focused. Stay locked in. Noise will come. Distractions will shout. But your eyes, they stay on the mission. Being unstoppable is a choice, a commitment, a battle cry that echoes through every action you take. The weak version of you was never meant to last. It was only a test, a chapter. And now, it's time to turn the page. So here's your moment. Kill the weak version of yourself. Bury the excuses, silence the doubt, burn the comfort zone to the ground. Stand tall, speak boldly, move with purpose. This is your time. Your greatness is waiting, but it won't wait forever. So make the decision, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. And if you're ready to kill the weak version of you, drop a comment below. I choose strength. Share this with someone who needs to wake up. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell. Because this isn't just a message, this is a movement. Let's rise, let's dominate, let's kill the weak version and unleash the power within.